Hey there, so that was my attempt playing my own transcription of Kurt Rosenwinkel's solo over John Coltrane's tune Satellite, which is a contrafact. Yes, it's contrafact. No, it's not. It's a reharmonization of the tune How High the Moon. So during this era, this period where John Coltrane was using his reharm techniques to change a lot of standards. And this is from a YouTube video with Kurt Rosenwinkel where he plays with, I think, a Dutch piano player named Peter Beats. So Kurt Rosenwinkel has recorded this tune, Satellite, but this is not that solo. This is from that YouTube video. And there is already a transcription of that recorded version on YouTube as well, and I'll link to it. So if you really want to dig into Kurt Rosenwinkel's way of playing over Coltrane changes, you will have plenty of work. So knock yourself out. So this is my transcription, and it turned out to be 15 pages and 254 bars or something like that. So it's quite a hefty transcription. I didn't play perfectly there. The point of this video is not for me to show off how I can execute this solo. It's for what I wanted to do is to give you the transcription and show you how I work with transcribed solos. And as always, I will put this on my Patreon page for you guys. And the tabs, the fingerings are my fingerings. I didn't study his fingerings. You can see a lot of times in that video what he's doing, but I didn't do that because the idea was not for me to try to copy his technique. But what I wanted, why I picked this solo to transcribe, was that I find these tunes, the Coltrane changes tunes, very, very difficult to play over, right? And I've talked about in the past videos I've made on giant steps and 26-2 and countdown, how you need these kind of idiomatic Coltrane phrases, right? That kind of stuff, and typical phrases that will help you through those changes. And I think those are important, and if you can't play over giant steps, you kind of need that to get started. So at least you can get through the tune. But then once you master those kind of idiomatic phrases, then you can start perhaps building your own vocabulary. But when I listened to Kurt Rosenwinkel play over this tune, when I heard that solo, what struck me was that it seems to me that he doesn't sound like that at all. So I don't know if he's deliberately avoiding those kind of cliches or whatever you want to call them, or if he's just approaching these changes from a different point of view. I don't know. You would have to ask him. So the idea is, if I transcribe the solo, I can look at these phrases and analyze them. And the best way to do that is to use them over another tune. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take some of those phrases. So there's a lot of phrases in this solo, right? 250 bars. And use them over, let's say, giant steps. So right off the bat, there's a phrase that works over those Coltrane changes. So I could use that over giant steps. Then I have to transpose, and this is what is a really good exercise, to transpose these phrases. That's when you start to understand how they work. So I'll take my iReal Pro. Some people are complaining that the swing feel of my iReal Pro backing tracks are not human sounding enough. They're too machine sounding. So I'm sorry that I don't have a live trio here. I wish I did, but we'll have to live with this for now. Sorry. So giant steps. So the first phrase I'm gonna play is no. See if that works. It works. I keep playing it wrong. There it is. Okay, so I have a little idea. And notice when I made a mistake like that, I have to figure out, okay, so why am I playing it wrong and what are the right notes? That's when I start to understand how these phrases work. So the next system we have this. It's another good phrase, little Kurt Rosenwinkel lick, if you will. So then I transpose that to B. And then let's try that. Okay, so short little phrases that get you through these changes. So that doesn't sound like the typical, you know. So again, there's nothing wrong with those. We should play those phrases and learn those phrases. John Coltrane plays those phrases. But now I'm trying to, this is kind of like the next level. Okay, let's find another little phrase. Here's another that actually does sound a little bit like those Coltrane type of phrases. So it's interesting, he's kind of using the Coltrane groupings, but starting on F sharp. That's a D kind of arpeggio, sus2 arpeggio. If you've studied if you watch my Giant Steps video, you will know what I'm talking about. So it's kind of like a superimposed Coltrane pattern. Transpose it to the next. Let's see what that sounds like, shall we? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll make a little etude with, I will pick a few phrases from this solo, there's quite a few of them, and I'll make an etude over Giant Steps or Countdown, I'm not sure yet, and then I'll make a bonus video for my patrons with that. So there's so much you can learn from this solo besides just learning little licks that work over Giant Steps type changes. There's a couple of things that he does rhythmically, like interesting stuff. It's a group of 5. He does a lot of groups of 3 triads, but they are 16th or 8th notes, so it creates a kind of a dotted quarter note feel to it, because he really accents the first of each group. So if this is a 4/4, so that's just triads. He does that quite a few times. Another thing I've noticed that he does is that when he plays major 7 arpeggios. That's how we learn him, let's say a G major 7 arpeggio. We tend to play like that. What he does, he'll play that, the top note, the root. He does that quite a lot. Which seems kind of weird first because you're so used to, or I'm so used to, hitting that 7th when I hit the highest note. But he hits the root, which kind of goes against what Mikko and those guys are saying, like don't play the roots on major 7 chords. But he does that quite a few times actually, and it sounds really hit because he doesn't stay on the note. He go back down, right? But so I noticed I kind of like that, so I started doing that too now. So that's something when you lift a long solo like that, or several solos by the same musician, you notice they have little things they do. Then you can kind of, you don't have to steal what they're doing, but you can kind of, if you like it, yeah, you should steal it. You should make it your own, right? So just a word on transcribing like that. What I'm trying to do here, or what I don't want to do is I don't want to copy Kurt Rosenwinkel's style. That's not the point. The point is to learn from how he manages to sound so fluent over this incredibly difficult tune. So that's why I spend a lot of time with this solo. And yeah, there's a lot to be said about transcribing, so maybe I'll make another video someday about transcribing. So what I did, I used the program Transcribe for transcribing. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for your time and attention, and I shall see you next time.